You stuck? Can you hear me? Gerard. Mm.
Better Ross, new podcast, who want the smoke? Coming raw and uncut like who want this dope? Whatever you want, they for sure to cover the topic. From racial issues to fashion flies and cockpit. Y'all ain't never get it like this, cause they ain't never did it like this. We on our this the way the cookie crumbles for y'all. She gon' bring the inspiration to all. You know what's up with her. And this shit manifesting is a vision. And y'all gon' love TJ cause he the realest. From the heart of a mob, they the start of it all. You looking for a high learning, holla at Gerard. The professor, never lesson, coming at you with the lessons. Get your edge if you knowin' what's good for you. They educated, but they still keep it hood for you. Won't need another, this one here really do it for you.
Baby, I need it. I see. What's up?
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Me?
What's going on? Yes, we can hear you. What's up, buddy?
Well, I can't hear you. I can't see you. I don't even know what's really going on in the world. But welcome to the floor is yours. If you can hear me, I'm gonna keep going because I don't know what's going on y'all side of the world. But we having some issues. But anyway, welcome to the floor is yours podcast. If you can you hear me, Gerard?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay. We good then. Let's push.
We'll just keep going. If I gotta join on my phone, I'm gonna have to do something. So welcome to the Floor is Yours podcast. It's your girl IC. Flex the Rex is over here helping us navigate through this. So welcome tonight. Sorry for the delay. We're having some technical difficulties. Okay.
Yeah, this whole internet, man, ever since we had the issue with the rain, it's been cutting up. So why don't you go ahead, get on through your phone, and I'll go ahead and get everybody in and get them warmed up so we can get the show started. So everybody, we appreciate everybody's patience. Yeah.
So now it's trying to do right?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm leaving out.
Okay. Appreciate everybody's patience and attention. Just give us a couple seconds. I see he's going to get out and get back in, but we got a heavy show, we think, tonight. The show's topic is wounded egos. So while IC goes ahead and drop, just go ahead and take a time to let you know a couple things that we got coming up. So in July, we talked about this last week. In July, we got a topic coming up called Level Up Leaders. And this particular event is going to be a huge focus on improving self. And so we got a number of topics where we're going to work on improving your soft skills. How do you communicate, showing up as your authentic self, understanding your value in the work market. And one of my personal favorites that we're doing is called I Am Not Angry. And it's a real hit on the whole misnomer of the angry Black woman. So we got a panel of very accomplished, hard-hitting women that's going to be a part of that discussion. And they're going to talk about how they deal with that whole concept or misnomer of being angry in the workspace and how to do it in a way that preserves other people's dignity, but also addresses it in its truth. So July the 12th and the 13th here in the Dallas area, we got information coming out on that. Ticket prices are going to be real affordable. We're going to have food and a number of other things. But here's IC. Miss IC.
What it do?
Oh, there you go. We're here.
Child, I feel so ghetto right now.
Can you turn your phone?
Let me see.
There we go. Now we in business.
Now you'll have to help me with the comments because I don't know what's over there.
I got the comments. Yeah, we're just gonna hit this topic. Well, you know, we short on time anyway, so yeah, we're gonna be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you got the outline up. You want to go ahead and pick up?
Okay. Is that enough? Can y'all see me? Because I just feel
Yeah,
so.
we can see you. You good?
Okay. Welcome to the floor is yours with your girl IC and Flex the Rex, the producer. Okay. We are tardy for the party, but nevertheless, we are here. We are present. I want to welcome to the Floor is Yours podcast, where we want you to do a couple of things, right? This is how we flow. We need you to like, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms. We need you to tag your friends, share, like, share on everything. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook,
YouTube,
etc. All of the above. Join us tonight where we work on your egos. Okay. So yeah, welcome to the Floor is Yours, and we apologize for the delay. Okay.
Yeah, again, appreciate everybody's patience, but we talk a lot about emotional maturity, and we're going to hit that topic hard in the coming weeks and months. But part of that discussion, we'll talk about the ego. And you know, usually, and let me know if y'all agree with this, usually when we hear about a wounded or fragile ego, it's attributed to men. I'll say this: while there are men who do have ego issues, while I was doing my research, I didn't find anything credible that says that men have issues with their ego more than women. So ego issues are not gender specific, and any real attempts to address the problem should be addressed with that understanding, in my true opinion. So let's start there, I see, and this is for the audience as well. Do you feel that men have issues with their egos more than women do? So explain your answer, and same thing again for the audience. Type that in the comment. Do you believe that men have issues with our egos more than women? And type that in the comment and explain your answer, please. So I see. What say ye?
In life, I would say the man, but as I've lived, I don't know. I think it's a balance. It's a even balance. But if I had to gotta pick one, I would say men do.
You say men have more issues?
Yeah.
So you think that's your personal experience, or you think there's something behind that? Won't you take a moment just to explain your why behind that?
It may be more personal than anything. But like, I feel like I still it's a balance because I got girlfriends, and including myself. I didn't feel like I had no ego issues until you have to, when people get to asking you questions about the ego and how things have affected you in life and how you respond or don't respond. And I realized that I had an ego problem. So I believe there is a equal balance there. I just feel like people don't admit it enough, and we are pushing more onto the opposite gender than we will on ourselves.
Yeah. And I have to agree with you in part on that. I think the biggest part is just in our society, there is an expectation for men to be this under control, you know, don't show your emotions type, you know, people. And it's more accepted if a woman does it, right? So that's why I said in the intro of the topic that ego issues are not gender specific. You know, everyone's going to have them. So with that being said, I think it's highlighted more if we see men showing their emotions in an unhealthy way more than women do. So that's kind of what I think. Again, I want to hear what the audience think about it. Do men have issues with their ego more than women do? And I just had to mute IC real quick because when she moved her phone, it's making a lot of noise. But the picture angle was good. You didn't need to move it, but yeah. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So yeah, again, I'll just reiterate that I think that it's just, you know, society is more accepted if a woman shows herself, and I just use the word unhinged, it's more accepted versus if a man does it. So we got a comment here. Appreciate Ivory. She says, I do believe they do. I believe men do not like work. Do not like work on them. Oh, okay. I think she said don't like to work on them. Yeah, you're right. We don't. Yeah, but I'll just say that again. I think it's both genders. So I think a lot of that is personal experience. If I'm a man and I'm, dating woman, of course, I'm gonna probably think that it's more the female persuasion that has the issues than the male persuasion. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So again, audience, keep the comments coming. We want to make sure that we address them as needed. But I want to talk about some of the ways that the fragile ego can show up, from people. And one of the ways is, and especially in this era when dating is such a huge topic, doing rejection. If you see somebody that you're attracted to, I see, and you make a pass or show your interest, and he reject you, how would that make you feel?
Well, seeing that has not happened, to me at this particular time in my life,
Okay.
but I'm just saying not this particular time. But if there is like a rejection, it's a little sting, like, what's wrong with his eyes? And I know he see me. So it's not a good feeling to be rejected, but it also doesn't make me devalue who I am.
Yeah.
It definitely just says that, hey, we didn't have no chemistry. I looked at him a certain way and he didn't vibe with me that way. And it's okay, like I say, it's a little sting that we get. But guess what? You just have to keep going and let that be that. But I'm pretty sure, to be honest, we all get that little sting moment. Like, I know he didn't, or
Yeah.
I know she didn't, but you was talking about me. So yeah, I'll probably turn into a tenderoni for a minute, and then I had to let that pass on by.
Yeah. When I remember when I first moved to Dallas, it was kind of understood out in the streets that if a guy tried to talk to a woman, the woman would say, like, hey, just get that guy a fake number, or at least give him your number and block it, because if you reject that guy in a moment, that you was in danger of him attacking you or being very disrespectful to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Up this way.
Yeah, yeah. So I used to hear this phrase, like women would say, "I don't date Dallas men because they're disrespectful." Of course, that's their own experience, and I wouldn't attribute that to every Dallas man, but or every man that was born in the Dallas area. But that was definitely something that I heard when I first moved up in the area, and it's the accept rejection. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we got
and like, because
go ahead.
yeah, because we do have a home girl that just say, if they say they from Dallas, don't date them.
Yeah, I've heard some stories. Hey,
Yeah.
I got my cousin. Appreciate Roz. She said, I think with pride and egos together, plus the typical man standards that society has chosen to place on men. I think she was kind of amplifying what I was saying. It's just a lot of society that makes us think that men have more issues with their ego or
Mm-hmm.
emotionally unhinged. But I do think that it can be anyone. And I didn't find, again, any credible research out there that says that, hey, it's men that are more unhinged than women are.
Right.
Yeah. Um,
Christy.
Christy, appreciate you. Christy said the media has a lot to do with people egos. Yeah, you're right. We talked about this, I see earlier. You look at the battle between R&B singers and rappers and Cat Williams, the comedians. Tell me that, to me, that has fragile egos written all over it. Here it is that someone say something about one that they don't like, and it's like full out war and attack, your character in some of the most grotesque ways. So you're
Yeah,
right.
I'm talking about 16 bars, murder, assassination, and burial.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
my issue is, and I talked about this before. Dr. Romani, she's one that I follow on YouTube a lot. She's a therapist, and she talks about dealing with rejection. And when she's saying, like, yeah, rejection or breakup, it does not feel good, but it's not the end of the world. When the people
No.
are mature and healthy, they know, like, hey, okay, I'll go ahead and make a move. But if I get rejected, it's not the end of the world. Or if my mate breaks up with me, it's not the end of the world. Is it gonna hurt? Yeah, but life's gonna be all right. And I don't have that fragile ego that's gonna make me go unhinged and just um, treat her any kind of way because I'm upset.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever had any experience in that space?
Which one? Which space, buddy?
Yeah, where you have to deal with with a breakup.
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, um, and I think it was the way the outcome of the breakup when they want to still be when they want to say they want to be so friendly, but they're going back to something um or with going back to someone that you've had to basically have discussions about. And when you see that, it's more of a jab than anything, right? And so in the beginning, it ain't even that your feelings hurt. At that point, you feel like you know what you really want to pop off and just use words for weapons, and all of those different things. And then you have to look at the bigger picture. It's once again, it's still not a reflection of me. That's a personal choice. Now, deal with it, feel with it, process it. It hurt.
Yeah.
Take the sting off of that thing and keep your mental insanity, because that's where it begins to really work on your mind rather than your emotions. And then when your mind gets to taking over, then you move in the emotional state and react from that point. So you definitely got to control them thoughts when those things happen,
Yeah.
because it will. And some people handle breakups a little bit better and they move on real fast. And some people process it a little bit slower. So each person has to decipher, how tough they are. And some people just, suppress. And that's why they're easy to move on, but doesn't mean that it's not there. They just choose to mentally block it out.
Yeah. It was reading this video where this one therapist attributed back to your attachment style, and we had a whole discussion about attachment styles. But
Mm-hmm.
if you were validated when you were younger and you had a healthy attachment style, then you were able to, as you got older and more mature, you was able to deal with rejection, in a more healthy way.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about the anxious style or the avoiding. Those are the two of the more toxic ones versus, of course, the healthy. But yeah, if say your parents or whoever your caregiver was, um, then promote that healthy, secure attachment. Well, as you got older and you was told no or didn't get your way, you acted out and you took it like it was a slight against you and your importance and your and again, it just didn't feel good. So you carry that over into your adulthood, especially
Mm-hmm.
in the relationship space or even at work, and it's just could turn to be a toxic interaction amongst folks.
Yes.
Yeah. We got Shalanda. She says, appreciate the comment. She says, in some cases, ego is tied to past trauma, which we were just saying in men and women. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. When kids, when we're young and we're learning who we are, learning, our social skills, how to interact with each other, our parents or our caregivers, they can make or break us. So, it does. It starts there. And unfortunately, there is no manual on how to be the best parent. And a lot of times people are parenting the way that they've been parented.
Yes.
They're parenting based off of trauma, So I think it's incumbent on each person. Yeah, I might not have been raised the best way on my own through my parents, but when it's time for me to parent, it's my responsibility to learn and be the healthy way, most healthy parents possible. We know some parents are overbearing and they, yell and cuss. And one of the ways that their egos are shattered is if their kids don't like something that they've done. And it could be something as simple as a meal. If that child
Mm-hmm.
likes that meal, then, the parents can come off unhinged and, their ego is fractured. Now, guess what their kid is learning? Yeah. Yeah. You okay over there? I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was.
Expecting
I probably
a
this
comeback.
is a little weird tonight, but I'm here. I've got you. I'm probably like a statue.
But yeah, it goes back to that whole how dare you act like that towards me? How dare someone treats me that way mindset? And it's just not healthy. So I think too, it's a fine line between knowing your worth and
Mm-hmm.
being so egotistical and feeling like that you are better than others, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think you should know your worth, But we shouldn't walk around here, with chips on our shoulders just because someone reject us and start to look down on folks for that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you reject me, I shouldn't be able to call you Knucklehead Fred. Teddy don't know what it really tastes like over here, or, you know what I'm saying?
All that. So yeah, Shalonda brings up a good point. She's talking about why that validation is necessary, and it starts at home. Yeah, yeah. Especially in those young eras, man, the kids need to be validated and know that they are important. But at the same time, it has to be that healthy balance to where, that they can. We hear people say that sometimes you need to be told no, so
Right.
that you can process that in a healthy way out in the world. So yeah, but that validation is important.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I had to find a place to find the comments because I really can't see them when they're sideways on the phone. So on my computer, even though I can't join there, I'm able now to see the comments this way.
okay.
So if I look over there or look a little off, that's because I can follow the comments to the right.
Yeah, I wasn't saying you looked off. Hey, so let's go to a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna come back and continue the conversation.
Your success ain't gonna happen overnight. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may even take 10 years. For some people, it might take even longer than that. But one thing I do know, as long as you keep fighting and staying consistent, you will make it. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, are you gonna make it?
Creed. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah. You gotta be willing to go out and get it. You gotta dive in it, go and get it. Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. Yeah. You got
Step in that water, step in that water, step in that water. You gotta be willing to go dive in it to go get it. That's my boy. That's the Floor Is Yours podcast. That is our barber down here in the Dallas area, Frisco, the Colony, all that right there, surrounding areas. So if you're ever up this way, hit our boy Miracle Closet, Miracle Oven, and then he also has a clothing line. He's got a beard oil, whatever you need. Get your eyebrows arched, get your t-shirt, and then pick up his book if you like to read. So he just kind of got a lot of things going on that you can grab something from him. Okay.
Yeah,
Shout out to Miracle's Closet.
Yeah, definitely an author and great clothing line. So check the homie out. Yeah. Another thing too is people with fragile or wounded egos, they avoid people. So what they do is they keep from getting in relationships just so that they don't ever have to experience that. And in my mind, that's a can I use the word miserable? A miserable way to live.
You might as well. You can use it. The floor is yours.
Okay. So what do you think about that? People that has wounded egos that haven't healed, how they avoid getting into relationships or friendships with certain people just out of fear of being hurt.
I feel like they definitely have to put in the work to release that, because that's bondage, to be quite honest. I mean, you'll go through that means you're willing to go through life technically by yourself in all areas of your life. And that's very unhealthy, because community is important. Being around people is important. So I feel like, let it go. Now that may be hard for some, but you can do it if you want to live and thrive. And because when I look at people that do that, they always got they never have a smile on their face. They always look like they down, depressed, or something going on. And then they're not thriving anymore.
Right.
So in order to be able to thrive, you're gonna definitely have to be now if that's your choice, that's your choice. But choose to still live while you're living. Because if you're not moving and getting to be around people to just have some type of interaction, you are slowly dying.
Yeah.
Slowly dying. And you can do
that's
it.
the issue about relationships. It's all about taking a chance. Anytime you open yourself up to someone, especially if you're loving at the highest levels, you got to be vulnerable, and you're going to take on the chance of being hurt. So, but you got to do it in a way where it's not just about me in a relationship. I'm also going to be pouring out and loving my mate. So, another one we talked about earlier too, I see if you remember, was it's self-sabotaging. People with these fragile egos can literally create the situation that they fear the most. and we talked about this in the past on the show too, audience. But just say if I got a fragile ego and I'm afraid that something's going to happen to me, guess what I start to do? I start to control and manipulate the situation. You know, it's where my mate goes, who my mate is friends with, how long they're being out. Then it even escalates from there. Like, hey, when we're together, put the phone down. Don't be on the phone. And it could seem like healthy patterns, but really it's controlling the situation. And by default, when I said it's self-sabotaging, the thing that you're afraid that's going to happen, you begin to put those things in place because now you're smothering your mate. You're not trusting your mate. You're controlling your mate. And then you're manipulating their friendships and their family interactions right there. So, you know, that fragile ego thing is real prevalent if you think about it in that space right there where it can begin to self-sabotage all your relationships and friendships.
And when you do the self-sabotage, that means you're still holding on to what somebody previously did to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you begin to put the person that you now choose to proceed forward with, you put them in that box. And once, like we always say, they don't deserve to be in that box because they didn't do it to you. And then my thing is, it's like you got to be willing to open up, trust that you can love again, trust that you can attract the right person that is going to not be what you were previously used to. Because if you feel that way, then that says something about how you view yourself, because you're the one that's attracted to this person, but then now you put them in a box. So if you don't, if that's not what you want, then you need to change something within yourself, that whether you saw it done with your mom, dad, whatever, you don't have to still go down that same rabbit hole by thinking that everybody is going to hurt you, that somebody going to take you for granted, that if he ain't answering his phone or she ain't answering his phone, that they're out doing something. That ain't the case.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Or if it is, you still can't live by that fear of what could be. You know, if you're in a relationship and you're acting like a governing or a parent in that relationship, in my mind, in my true opinion, like that's miserable. I wouldn't want to be in a relationship with somebody that I got to try to control. Now, that's either some issue going on with me or something about that person that's so untrustworthy where I got to try to manipulate the situation like that. So,
and if you got to do that, we don't need to be together anyway.
No, not even.
We don't even have to do salad and cocktails. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do nothing. We just go on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. The issue is though, the healing part, and it takes ongoing. And let me put it this way first, before I even talk about the healing. Sometimes it's not an issue about healing. Sometimes we've just learned bad behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember my own story where I was just felt like, hey, in relationships, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is what you're not supposed to do. And if anything went outside those self-imposed boundaries that I put on myself, then now I got an issue because I felt slighted. And it wasn't anything truly that the other person did. It was just something that I need to work on myself about unlearning bad behaviors, which is totally different from someone that's dealing with, some emotional wellness or mental health issues.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Christy said looking for stuff to happen. Appreciate the play on the word and spelling so we can put the comment on. And Coley said the healing hurts more than the wound. It can, and I think it's supposed to. If you think about it in the physical, when you're getting surgery, that doctor is doing a number on the body. And they trying to heal or correct whatever the issue is. And you're right, because you're going to have to really make yourself vulnerable beyond, what some people think that they will ever want to. But for you to get better in that area, you're going to have to unlearn some bad things. You're going to have to love. You're going to have to be vulnerable. You're going to have to be transparent. But I think the key, though, is to make sure that you're being vulnerable and transparent and in a relationship with the right people. Now, what that means, probably gonna have to slow it down and, and pace yourself and not jump into something too quick. But I think what's one of the best ways to get over it is to learn to love again in a healthy environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, so that means learning to love yourself too differently, because
what do you mean by that?
Sometimes we don't even know how to love ourselves correctly. Mm-hmm. And when you don't, then what you don't know how to do with yourself, you don't know how to do with somebody else.
Yeah.
We definitely know if I don't, I got to extend myself grace sometimes. And I have to learn that if I have to give it to myself, then I have to do that in a relationship as well.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, like a lot of it, like Corley said, everything still goes back to self first.
Yeah.
Everything turns back to what we need to do internally with us moving forward in any relationship.
Yeah, that's good. And I think a big part of it is, and we've talked about this one, not expecting our happiness to be given to us from somebody else.
Absolutely.
You know, can someone contribute and give us momentary happiness? But I think if we're talking about that, what's more than happiness is joy. And you know, they say joy is an inside job. And if I'm happy and whole, then I'm contributing my wholeness and my happiness and my joy to another relationship, because that's a heavy burden for someone to try to carry on. Like, hey,
Right.
you're making me unhappy. You need to do this to make me happy. And you know, the thing is, that's a lot of people's mindset, to think that I got to be with somebody that makes me happy. Yeah.
Right.
And Shalonda said it's about understanding. Absolutely. And understanding takes communicating, and part of communicating is listening. You know,
Yeah.
if I got to understand, it ain't just for you to understand what I got going on, what I'm feeling, but also I need to be understanding what's important to you and what makes you click and tick, right?
Yeah, all the key components. Communication. You gotta communicate. Like, talking is essential to every part of life. I mean, I can't read your mind. We can't read each other's minds. You know, sometimes we can read body language a little bit when somebody a little upset or frustrated. It's the way they're demeanor, but they're still not giving me the telling me what's going on.
Yeah, that's good. Ivory got a good comment. She said, understand that every relationship is not the same, and not holding the next relationship accountable for the last relationship. And I think we've all at some point been guilty of that. We switch relationships and we try to take the good from that relationship with us, but subconsciously, or we also bring in the bad from that relationship. If we're trying to bring in the good from that relationship, by default, we're going to bring in some of the things that we remember that wasn't so good. So we're not giving the new person a clean slate. And again, we're not being healed ourselves. And it's an unfair expectation that we're placing on the new person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but again, I do like where it says it forces us to deal with ourselves. That's tough. You know, we try to put the responsibility on the other person. You know, I only do this because you did that. I only acted that way because you did this. And now it's wrong. Now that doesn't, how does it go? I'm responsible. I'm not responsible for what you do, but I'm responsible for how I react. Yeah. Now that don't relieve or alleviate the other person's wrong. It doesn't forgive or excuse their wrong, but it does put the responsibility on me to make sure that I'm attributing healthy behavior to that relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I'm not gonna blame you for the way I only did it because you like this. My thing is I respond, and if we're honest, I responded that way because there was a trigger from something back that I ain't really dealt with. We don't talk like that freely. And I believe moving forward, as you grow and mature, that's how you can have a conversation. Yeah. You know what? It ain't even really you. It's just something that you did that reminded me of something back then, and it almost took me there. But I choose not to allow that to be the reason why we gonna have a tussle tonight.
Yeah, but that's why it's important to know yourself, to know what your triggers is, and talk about them. But at the same time, when I'm talking about them, I'm not going to put the responsibility on you. Say, hey, don't do this, and I won't act that way. Now, I want you to act in good order and good discipline in a relationship, absolutely. But it's not your responsibility to control my behavior.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, Ron said we must have gave Ivory the night off. Yeah, we gave Ivory a night off. She took vacation. You know, that's one of the benefits of the Floor is Yours podcast. We get vacation and sick time. So she taking.
Boy, you crazy. And then he talking about, I see. Well, clearly your eyes work if you don't see on here. Now I'm just playing around.
Can you see this question right here? A comment?
I can.
You want to take it?
Lord, she got the cussing and the middle finger. She said, Christy says, yes, but a lot of relationships uh people try to dictate one time thinking they talking to you and they don't, and they not both people have. She mad at the spell check. I don't really know what she's saying. Retype it, girl.
Let me see. Yes, but a lot of relationships, people try to dictate one time thinking that they talking to you, and Yeah. Hey, retype the comment, Kristen. We'll do it because that hurt my head a little bit.
She put that's why she put the cussing, and she be typing fast.
Yeah. Hey, I'm laughing at Run by having a night off. Yeah, go on and
Yeah,
use
with that we got that PTO time, baby. She got paid time out, baby.
yeah. So, but yeah, we got started late, so we're gonna have to end the little show shorter than what we normally do. So,
Yeah,
but
the internet was not friendly tonight, and I don't want to say it sucked, but it really sucked.
But it don't change what we need to do though. So what we want to do?
We kept moving. We kept moving.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is let IC go ahead and wrap the discussion up with some inspirational words about.
I'm gonna do the best I can
about the wounded ego.
That wounded ego. Let me tell you something. If you've been dealing with that for a long, long time, it's time you let it go, because it's only gonna keep you trapped. It's not gonna allow you to go forward in a healthy place in a relationship. It's gonna keep you stagnant, but it's also not gonna allow you to open up to allow yourself to be loved correctly by the right person. And then it just turn down those walls. The past is the past. We can't relive it. We don't have to go back and really keep living in the past. Let's say we won't have to keep going back and staying in that old place, especially when you're trying to move forward. So that's like just going in a jail cell and somebody done bailed you out to say, hey, you free to go. But then you want to sit there in that jail cell because you feel like they owe you something and they need to come back and apologize and all these different things. It don't matter. Life happened. It happened. It's over with. You should not let somebody be dragging you around on a leash that don't even know that you there, and they done gone on with their life. They got new relationship. They got new things going on, and you're still here replaying the past over and over and over and over and again in your head. So you can never build a strong a house on a weak foundation. And if your foundation is weak within yourself, your heart, your mind, and your emotions, and you're still there, it's some cracks somewhere. And so even if you start to try to build with somebody, eventually those cracks are going to show up. Yeah. That foundation is going to be unstable, and then you're going to begin to see it in the walls of where y'all trying to go together. And if after a while, if you don't get it fixed, because you'll have to tear it all the way back down to get to the foundation to rebuild it. And who wants to keep rebuilding a house over and over again? Now, will there be times you might have to do some upkeep to the house? I'm gonna use the house. You're gonna change the windows. You're gonna have to put some ceilings around the doors, and you're gonna have to, tear up some old grass because you need some freshening. That's what you got to do with yourself in order to be able to move in a relationship and to move forward. So all I'm saying is, get you some new soil, plant some new seeds, let the past be the past, so that now you can flourish in a new place of knowing that love, you can love again differently. You can love again better, and you don't have to let old residue be your portion. That's over with. You want to get up knowing that you have been refreshed and revived simply because you chose to make a choice to say that is no longer the way I choose to operate. That is no longer of who I'm connected to. I'm different. And I'm looking for different, and I'm looking for better. But be willing to get in that mirror, face yourself, so that you can move forward and just say, hey, it didn't work there, but there's somebody that I can work and move forward with. And that's my love note. Just knowing that it's possible and it is yours. I know we keep saying that the dating pool is different. I mean, the dating pool is dirty. But I think it depends on which pool you in. Now, if you're still in the past, the pool still is dirty because that's still what you're attracted to, and that's still what you're drawing in. But there is a cleaner version over here. You just got to put in the work, and that means you got to do a little bit traveling in a different direction. But the first direction is changing your mind, healing your heart and your emotions, and knowing that in the end, you can truly have something beautiful with the right person in a healthy state if you put in the work. And that's all I got.
And I want to add on that, because that was a beautiful little note. But it's when you talk about putting in the work, it's the right work. And I think what a lot of us try to do, we try to self-diagnose, and it's going to be based off of our biases and our limited understanding. There is a world out there of professionals who have dedicated their life to bettering people and helping them heal in these spaces. And
Right.
while it's better in our community where we are seeking to be healed, through therapy and counseling and, a number of other ways, we still fall short. And it's unfortunate because a lot of these employers are offering free counseling and therapy sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to heal right based off of my own. I'm not going to heal right based on my own understanding and my own limitations. I'm a proponent of mental health and therapy, and I've shared that I've been going for a number of years. And it's not just about bad. I go to therapy to talk about the good in my life and just
Yes.
and how to connect the dots, and just want a constant check in for someone who's better and smarter in that arena, how they can just help me be accountable with my own and stop putting the responsibility on other people to grow. So I just encourage people, man, even if you don't have it through your employer, there are some free services. There are a number of nonprofits, a whole lot of mental health advocates who may not be the professionals that are trained, but they have the resources to help you at least deal with some of the small things. And if we can even just do that, now when we become parents or mentors or interacting with our nieces and nephews or in our next relationship, we can become the best versions of ourselves possible. So
Yes.
I encourage people, get the help. It's out there. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Actually, in my opinion, it's a shame if you don't. It's a shame if you don't.
It's definitely a disservice because that's what we've been taught. We don't need to talk to nobody, but you need somebody that's gonna check you for you, not somebody that's gonna be a little bit biased. And then people that still wanna soothe your womb instead of just saying, just rip the band-aid off and let's just deal with it. We still want to be like, well, I don't want them mad at me. Sometimes you need people to be mad at you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to read Christy's comment. She sent it to me without the spelling errors. Appreciate the comment. She says, people try to dictate one side of the conversation and not listen to the other person, thinking that they are both communicating. That's true. And it's not the issue. Just because one didn't understand doesn't mean the other one does. Man, that's good. Both have to understand, both have to communicate and stop the one-sided argument, thinking just because you got the upper hand. You're right. That's the whole saying. We arguing or I'm speaking for you to what did it say? I'm listening to respond and not.
In other words, and they're listening to respond and not comprehend.
Yeah, so that's what we need to do. Make sure that we're listening. What we say, anybody could communicate. A dog and birds communicate, but am I effectively communicating? So,
baby, Christy got that message. Chris, you got that message sent, baby. Spell check, forget you.
That takes a whole lot of listening. It takes a whole lot of listening. So, she said she be having Bluetooth in her ears at work. Oh, she at work, so that's why we have Bluetooth.
Okay, got you.
Okay. So,
Leah Lysandra, she said, that's true. That's a true statement. Both need to communicate and listen.
Yeah, and it could get tough, especially when emotions are high. No one wants to get outdone. And the worst part is when that the other person is on some mess, but it's hard to what, I'm not going to let you say what I know is a lie. What I learned through therapy is man, you gotta let the other person tell whatever it is that they need to tell, because if they're not trying to listen, if they're not trying to have a healthy communicating relationship at that moment, you're not going to do any good by trying to engage and interact with them. You know what? Just take the high road, let them say what they're going to say, and maybe when tempers cool down, you can revisit. But
right,
that's important right there. So. But I see. This was good. We had some technical difficulties, but we got through it. Ivory out enjoying her PTO. I hope she's ready to come back.
Yeah, girl, enjoy that PTO, because baby, it is well worth it. You get PTO, you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
We got one.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and get that one.
Yes, and when emotions are high, you should both take a little time to cool off so that you don't say something that you do not mean or that would really hurt other person's feelings, and that's not your intentions. Oh, trust me, I have been there. Especially, she said, put her in, coach. Especially when you're trying to diffuse a situation, because or the conversation because you know it's going to the left. And when a person just, the ego steps in, when you say, oh, we finna stop talking about this, and they go forward and say, you can't be the one to stop the conversation. Well, I tell you what, then you sit here and you, excuse my French, is how you say, you sit and you talk to your damn self, because I'm not finna sit here, because I see that where we're going right now, we're not going to get anywhere. And there are going to be some things that are going to be said. Feelings are going to be hurt. And one thing about it, you can't suck words back in. And you got to do all this trying to explain or to buy a gift to try to cover it up. And it just doesn't.
Can I say something though? The unhealthy people, they don't want to suck the words back in. They want it to hurt. They want to ride with it for weeks and months and years. And their mindset is like, hey, I want to break that person. So you know what? I think we're assuming when we're saying it, a healthy person is like, you know what? Yeah, dang, I can't take that back. Some people don't want to take the hurtful words back.
Well, see, and then when in that case, when you know the ones that don't want to take it back, that's when I just got a tongue that just come out like a typewriter, and I'm talking about it'll give it to you. And then at that point in my life, I didn't feel bad because I forewarned you to stop. And I know you trying to hurt me. I'm gonna give it to you real good. That's how it was back then. Now I just ain't got time. You ain't finna break me. You ain't finna try to turn me down, because I built myself up a little bit tougher now to know that when people are really trying to directly hurt you, because it's gonna make them, they think that's making them feel good or that they've done something to you.
And I'll say this about that: it comes with answering to someone that's bigger, better, and got the final say.
Yeah.
Of course, if it's you, what you gonna do? But I serve a God, you know, who has a higher expectation.
Hell of him, Lord. Hell of her, Lord.
And that's the thing. If we don't subscribe to a belief system that transcends our hurts and our fears and our own selfishness, I mean, we just the word we raggedy. Or what we say, we monkey business. So we gotta do business. So close us out, RC.
Well, the closing out is, you know, we really want to be with y'all, but we gotta go. Anyway, you know what we gotta do. We gotta like, share, and subscribe. If you're coming on late, leave us a few comments pertaining to the topic. And we're gonna come back, check them out, dialogue with you all. But once again, like, share, and subscribe on all social media platforms. That, you know, and other than that, we want y'all to come back and meet us. Well, we're gonna be here next Tuesday, Gerard. I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll be here one day next week.
Okay, now one day next week we're gonna be here. We want you to meet us, and we won't have no technical difficulties, because the Lord gonna handle that tonight. Okay, He gonna handle it. But we always enjoy when you all get on and we're able to dialogue and we're able to have a discussion that helps us in one way or the other, that we gather something from you all. So yeah, like, share, and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you again on the Floor Is Yours podcast. One more before we go. I had to learn to step back and not react out of anger, because I would say stuff intentionally to hurt the other person, and that really was not cool. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And how about that? That's a good note to take. Treat people like you want to be treated. See, eat that tonight for dinner. All right. Take us out, Flex.
Now it's my turn to tell y'all about my big bro Gerard and the podcast crew. From DJ the realist, Miss Cookie the professor, and you can't forget about the inspiration shit. They talk about it all, got advice for us all. You'll never know how deep the talks will go. On the weekdays, the weekends, they be going live with the topics. Then they do the segment where the floor is yours. You can post your comments, you can post your statements, yeah. You can ask your questions, They can help you get your life moving in the right direction. If you need advice on marriage, advice on finance, advice on healing, advice on credit, this the podcast that you need to check out. Go ahead and tune in, you'll feel what I'm talking about.
Baby, I'ma get the floor is yours. Yeah, baby, I'm on the floor is yours. Baby, come down to the floor is yours. Let me show you how the floor is yours. Hey, the floor is yours. The floor is yours. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Peace. Love y'all. Good night.